When you ready to said you can melt away.
For the most. Come on, Ram.
We need to mix together. Not like we need to be all the time. We need to mix. Yeah, but technically you can mix it there.
Namaste. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for being patient and be present over here. Okay. Can I put? Okay. The main focus of our program today is the book launch of the book by author Nirmal Kumar Thapa. The name of the book is Ekanta. That's the meaning is lonely. It will be very interesting to talk about the book later on. But at the moment, we are starting the program with the recitation of some of the poems. So I would like to welcome first Nirmal, our center of the program today. Nirmal Kumar Thapa has got the poetry book also published. So he'll be reciting some of the poems today from his book. And I would like to welcome Nirmal Kumar Thapa in here to recite some of the poems from the book. It's a Nirmal versus Crystal versus Nirmal. Please come to the right.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Namaste, Sawailai. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone. This is a slightly different type of program. We are coming from the different walks of life, and we're talking about the poetry and literature. Surely you will enjoy this poetry I wrote years back, maybe decades ago, and it's a collection of poetry, Crystal versus Nirmal, and let me read randomly some poetries from my collections. First, I will start from a poetry. The title is God. God, to understand the realm of God seems as tricky as making arcs around the ocean. Having a test of impossibility and of trouble is inscribed. To confiscate that obscurity, the entire intricacies of life will vanish abruptly. Unless we sense God, we will be ignorant, unaware of everything. It's brighter than the sun before the sun's ray sets on the earthy grounds. We can sense nothing but with the ray of hope. This nothing will be felt with the arrival of the sun. We can take a glimpses of everything. This everything is a spark of consciousness. We are all covered by the simple convictions, but God is beyond consciousness. Forget this consciousness a moment, you will see God before the sun appears. After the sun sets in a flash, you will see God in the presence of godly blessings. We smell the fragrance of the unknown, get ready to enter the godly doors. Let's join together, moving our hands for the one. Although we sense that the God is not far from us, nor can we achieve it with unity, but it's a path of self to draw out the revelations of God. Thank you. I wrote this poetry in 2007, so I started from the God. Some people believe in God, some people don't believe, but there is some super conscience, or maybe we can call it nature, or any names, we have different beliefs or religion or traditions. I'm happy that I started from God. Every human being and every nature creature is the symbol of God that we believe. Another poetry entitled Realizations. Realizations is the world flat or round, all depends on an individual's note. Forget for a while, the old is neither flat or round. Think again, the thought speaks of dreams, foretelling of building a shelter for my parents. Think says fires, to reintact with the nearest star. Between these, a small meaning of flourishing. This exists no words for the infinity, incredible depth of every grain of sand. To every knowns of the creatures, every gesture darts the known in an unknown universe. Matter exists with the converse with the antimatters. Destruction's creations in the cell of the little house, where father and the daughter appeared my being like a savvy traveler. Looks smooth and inconscious in its wisdoms, leave it softly. I address more to myself than any other being. And water trembling with the skilling light, my beloved disappeared into the calmness of night. My eyes can see a lover tree stands on the edge of the world. I found my being surprised with its sweet embrace, smelling the callings of the first raindrops of the scene of Everest flowed by the sun through all the seasons. Why I wondered, failed to chant the hymn that will bring you back. Neither the song of early dews nor the full moon music, until appears the sun, nor the special songs for the rain that melts to make me love to the earth, your balancy to the treasures the smile, senses the warm toss at the ending night. Will never forget, even you left. Horizon recalls our togetherness and oneness, a marvelous moment reflecting my infancy. Again, the heaven has controlled the worldly custody to defend my formative hours, inclusive of all things, from my tears to cheerful hours. Huskiful nights and the sacred games all were recalled, ruins and smiles. Once upon a time, right here and now, existence of ours is where, under the same sky, with the tears and a smile, making it worthy to live together. Thank you. It's another poetry that I wrote in 2007. This poetry is highly influenced by the Khalil Gibran. I read his poetry, The Prophet and The Madman was, In Nepal, there is a great poet, Devkota, also, he was influenced as well. So this is my influence, kind of reflection of Gibran that I found when I visited temples, whether temples is of the Christ or maybe Lord Shiva. It doesn't matter, but I feel it's just a holy place. Madman at the temple. On a sunny day, a man appeared before me and questions, do you accept God as a truth? Why was he surprised to see me before the Pashupatinath? Is a temple in Nepal, Pashupatinath. With the gentle, oh, be heart, no, it's not about the God's being. Godliness is what I have recognized. I have God realizations with many formed of stone ladder, the way directing the Mirgasthali, the marvelously crafted temples with a stunning architecture, modesty characterized of all the kings, to enhance the beauty with the gold in the temple. In the name of God, dance up the black book, mischievous apes and other too, of least meet for the hierarchy welcome. Besides this, the man who asked me a question scarp to my intelligence since a long, long ago, bearing no compassions for the God in his souls. But how can I, who is often there, he believes I lie to him. All these things carry me here from my soggy hermitage, plated with the Nirmal Nivas. being like an eagle, although I acquire two legs, not wings, but doesn't make an affair. I can reach up to heaven with my countless desires, but I feel pity on the poor being who didn't comprehend me with my presence at the Pashupati temple any moment. I exist no more here. My bride desire travel through the heavenly skies. My spirit is only attained through the God. My being knows the aloofness and the bows the akim of the silence. All those amidst the worshippers with known the barriers cannot stop my flight. Means the height of signifies me, where lies fly fearlessly. My Everest consciousness is just aware of the God. I forget to speak out more than I want. The man disappeared. Perhaps he had realized with my consciousness that I am the bloom-blazed soul in these small secrets of the Nepal valley, the Kathmandu. Of course I am, dancing apps, they tap my feet like mad. Listening to holy board songs, pleasure is abundant, I feel. But he never the man who questions me, who recognized me from afar. Why is he afraid to ask me? Today he mellowed, realizing some glances through my idiotic answers. All those, I repeated my walks as usual, just around the boundaries of the temple I left behind to enter the temple. And I remember the poor priest there, his red nose smile flattered with the prasad and dakshina, handy quaints with the less of the electrogemo. These visionary things are poorer than the upstairs scandals. That's why I implore to walk around the temple. Next day my eyes sees that man again. He looks at me like an old enemy, thus I do not covet his wife. Then I simply smiled upon his so-called wisdom. Hey, awakened man, into your muddy world, your muddy water for the lotus. My poor fellow, awake, and prepare to fly like an eagle or a bird, and experience the pleasure of the hazards without understanding jeopardy, no room for the growth, and the adventure of the spirit bliss, while the eagles flies the highest over the blue sky, flies across the zones, you may realize your inner self is immortal and the God present there. Without holding heaven or hell, it's not about the seeing a lady who walks with a dog in the evening here. The ecstasy just belongs to a few courageous souls. You may be the one, I'm already the frightened. It's your turn now to get ready for the flight without grounding, because God never desires from his children, nor expect from you. Step ahead for the ultimate one. Who am I? Reflect on your own questions before the mirror belonging to you. Then you shall delight for who you are. Thank you. It was written in 2007. So these are my random poetries, about my consciousness, my philosophical thoughts, and whatever I saw in my daily life, and meeting friends, visiting temples, and or maybe states, everywhere I get inspirations. So more, I based in Kathmandu, so my poetry is, born in the valley Kathmandu, and the metaphors, the more are based in the mythical tombs in the best in Kathmandu. I will read one poetry. Years back, maybe 7-8 years ago, I was in Stratford-upon-Avon, and in my childhood, everyone is reading the Shakespeare. And so for us, the whole of the literature and Shakespeare's place, it's very special for us. So at the day I stepped there and I spent a couple of hours or maybe day, I feel the wisdom, the ancient wisdom of Shakespeare surrounding me, and I feel that aroma. And it became a poetry. And I wrote this poetry on the nearby the Thames, to recalling all his Macbeth to Romeo and Juliet, or every whatever I used to read in my childhood. So this is my reflection on the Shakespeare on that very day I stepped in the Stratford-upon-Avon. Seeds of a Shakespeare. Living in the later is not as cold as you lived in the body. Images of the ages change, hence your sainthood is the same. An immortal sense you left behind is alive. I can listen to your footsteps. Silence bloomed by the riversides, felt cold to see the dancing dogs, and lifted the veil of the rainy days. I entered your land of orisons. New man standing right there with the old robes rightly said, "This is your bathroom." In fact, this is your parents' bed where the master seeds was planted. Aroma of the old pine trees flavor my soul. Time paused somewhere in between these walls and windows, but I can feel your eyes. With the views seen from the window, same clouds soar gentle drops of love. Compassion bound into verses, hiding the self in the pairs of the sonnets. Drama is still going on, as if someone is trying to erase the immense beauty of play. How can he do so? Once a play played by players, only play remains and the players disappear. So me, I am no more here, simply disappears and dissolve into you. I know these walls may fall down someday, and these windows and doors too. Still my astral body recalls those unsung melodies, whispers closely sitting next to you. With the mortal curtains, woodland would seal the house and sealed my memories forever. Thank you. It was about the memory of the Shakespeare's. And Sangeeta, come. I will read some poetry later as well. Now your turn. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimaji. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Sangeeta Shrestha, but I also do write, and I have a couple of books published, and I do write poetry as well, and I write as Sangeeta Shrestha as my pen name. I would like your permission to read one of my poems here. This is the title of the poem is Eyes and Tears. This poetry was published in 2020 in Borderless Journal. Is it? All right. Okay. Oh, thank you. The poetry, Eyes and Tears. Over the rim of the eyes welled weary the tears, asking the eyes, should I trickle or not? Over the rim of the eyes welled weary the tears, asking the eyes, should I trickle or not? The poor couple turns Aculus in utter surprise, respond in a staggering and grueling shape, how do you yell to roll down? The eye asks, how do you yell to roll down? The tears sob at the oddity of the question and reply in a state of being offended and distressed. If you are embarrassed to show up in open, I shall glide my way inside. If you are embarrassed to show up in open, I shall glide my way inside. If you are in solitude otherwise, I shall spill out in a surge. How wise the tears are, full of empathy. How wise the tears are, full of empathy. To save the eyes from being abashed, they are ready to repress their outburst, and to loosen up the eyes, they are all set to gust out, from cheeks across the cheeks. The eyes, meanwhile, are silent. The eyes, meanwhile, are silent, their heart already hard as stone, and so retort, I get fussed easily even after countless fragmentation, only to be never fragmented again. Thus is the difference. Thus is the difference between the eyes and the tears. The eyes are fixed. This is the difference between the eyes and the tears. The eyes are fixed, but the tears get dismembered many times, only to be shattered again. Hence, the tears that once dropped off inadvertently in despair have started asking for permission nowadays. The tears that once dropped off inadvertently in despair have started asking for permission nowadays before making their way out, and the eyes that were inept in giving consent before, have started giving permission these days. Thus is this alchemy between the eyes and the tears. Thus is the alchemy between the eyes and the tears. The tears ask, should I trickle or not? And the eyes respond, how do you yell to roll down? So the conversation goes on. Thank you. I would also like to thank you. I would like to thank everyone for being present here, and we have some notable guests, and I would like to take their names. We have Robin Mars, UPF from UK. Thank you for being here, and also Surendra Nepal Shrestha, advocate and also an author. Surendra Nepal ji. And we have Major Ram Bahadur Pun, SO2 Army Diversity Engagement Team from Surrey. Just left, all right. And we have Suman Karelji, he's a renowned media personality, used to work for BBC. And we have Situ Karelji, singer from Nepal. And we have Ashok Kumar Chauhan, the warrant officer from British Army. He just left. I should have spoken this before. And we have Major Rudra Bahadur Kharka. Did he leave as well? Okay. Engagement Branch, Headquarter Regional. We are very thankful for them to being here. And we have Basant Rai Chetri, Deputy Chairman from Nepali Literature Development Council. Okay, before we start, are we launching soon? Okay. Who's reciting? Okay, I would like now to request Sania to recite her poetry. Sania is from UK, but originally from Pakistan.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. My name is Sania, and I met Nirmal ji via Facebook poetry groups. And today he invited me to his book launch event. And I'm going to be reciting a few of my poems that I've already published. I'm myself a published author and a poet. So I'm going to start on with my first one, which is Seeds of Success. The season of harvest is now here. I reap the fruits of my hard work. For the seeds of success I sowed in the past. Sweetness is in the air. Bliss is everywhere. The smile on my face adds great to my fate. The new dawn brings with it soul freedom. I am now reborn to rule my kingdom. I now walk out of fear as I see miracles everywhere. The divine light shines in so bright. Put forth my confidence in perfect limelight. Every step was full of lessons, leaving behind a choice to become a victim or a learned. I invited God to my difficulties. He opened me spiritually through creativity. Never knew that life was full of possibilities until I break through life's unraveling cruelties. The season of harvest is an ultimate testimony. My seeds of success have bloomed artistically. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
What was the title? Seeds of Success?
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I've got a few other poems that I've already published. So my other one is Blessed Hands. Blessed Hands holds the power to heal, offering a life-soft touch, wipes out all agonies, adding an ink of beauty to one's misty rainbow, with faith and love from the body to soul. Blessed hands of the daylight wind gives a new life and is kind. An exotic guild spread, fragrance fine, in a haven under the shimmering sky, holding one in an ecstatic fold for life. The sweet scent of the blessed hands lingers on, the divine caressing and tender kisses hold one for long. Thank you. And other one is Free Bird that I would like to recite. I hope you all are liking it. Okay. I'm like a free bird, marching to the beat of my drum. I soar higher and higher as I get tuned to my own rhythm. It is the hymn that begins, a great hymn of God, a great hymn for my Lord, the heavenly Redeemer, a performer of great miracles, the precious Savior, allowing me heaven's freedom to sing and fly away towards a destiny of insight, where my courage touches new heights, his finest touch of love and light. As I free myself to dance in the winds, the beauty of the majestic intimacy blends in. Echoes of serenity whispers through the mist as God's love reverberates within my spirit. Thank you. Thank you. That's all, yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Sure. Thank you.
Now we'll be launching the book, Ekanta, and I would like to welcome here in the dais Nirmal Kumar Thapa, author of the book, Surinder Nepal's wrestler, advocate, and the writer, Robin Marsh from UPF UK, and Suman Kharelji here.
It's like Christmas.
No pictures? Picture, only have picture. Yeah, picture.
The picture would look better if you were standing there.
Yeah.
With the banner behind you and
Yeah,
the
yes.
whole group.
If I have one more book,
त्यहाँ छ
You need one more book.
one more book, yeah.
त्यहाँ छ एउटा ल्याऊ त्यो सेतो छ हजुर
We need to be a
Uh-huh.
little bit gender balanced as well.
त्यहाँ लामा Come on.
Can you get another one?
Yes, yes.
It's all right.
Yes,
You want to go in the middle?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh no, right in the middle.
All right. I'm going to take one and she's going to take one, okay? So look at me and smile. Thank you.
Yeah, please come as well. Come, please. Yes,
No,
yes.
I want to.
Oh, yeah, please.
Who can take photo for my? I'll take a picture.
Yes.
No problem.
I shall have to learn Nepali.
Smile.
Just 1 second, because I can put it on social media. Do you want to give it to someone?
Okay, guys, ready?
Yes.
Hold on, yeah? Let me get it. I think I will.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
आफै भन्नु यसको कथाको बारेमा एकछिन अनि त्यसपछि यसलाई बोलाउनु
Okay. In today's event, I would also like to welcome Mike Balcom, Continental Director of UPF, FFWPU.
Here he is.
Here I am. I have a board.
Yeah, I forgot to mention about you earlier. Sorry about that. Nirmalji has given me the responsibility to talk a little bit about the book, but to be honest, I just saw this book right now here. I don't know what to talk about, but yeah, I've got the PDF yesterday of the book to read. I've read a couple of stories in the train while I was on the way to here, so it's very quick thing to do. But when I saw about this book being promoted on the social media, I mean, like having the like flyer on the book, I thought like Nirmal forgot the cover of the book. I thought like this is the second page, that after that, and I just started wondering like why he's messed the cover, and I just left like that. It didn't come to my mind, and later on, when I saw the flyer for the launch of the book, I didn't started realizing, okay, this is the cover of the book. That was deliberately this cover plain and blank. But I think this is very interesting and also like very clever, because that's how like people's minds strike in here, because people have started thinking like why it is like this. But it is plain and it's got a lot of meaning, I think. And that I found it very fascinating. This never came to my mind. My book's covers has always been very colorful. So something to reduce colors from my books later on. Yeah, this is about the cover. And the book has 19 short stories. And I read 3 stories and I found it very interesting. And the 3 stories I read are, I'll have to say in English and Nepali a little bit, switch in between. Anandit Jivanko Bato, as it's about the life. The stories it has are about the daily life. It's about tea, a tea lover. And there's one story I read he's called Nepal Uncle. He's got a restaurant in UK. So it has covered the story from diaspora. And the 3 stories I read in the morning. And after reading 3 stories, I felt that, and the cover of the book, and with the name in it, I felt like this is about solitude, loneliness, and we all, at one point in our life, like we all love to be in peace, in alone time we want to have. And I think like in one or the other stories, we will find that connection in the stories, in any story. And some of the stories has got very much philosophical sentences that I really liked, and I started, like copying them. And I've read Nirmal's other books as well earlier, and his books are not very easy to understand, even in Nepali. Even if it's published in Nepali, sometimes I need to read 2 or 3 times to understand what he's saying. But 3 stories I quite easy understood this time, so I was quite happy. Oh, this is a bit, this book is a bit, like easier for me to understand. Now I take permission to read in Nepali. There's some of the philosophical line from this book I read in the morning. I just took the screenshot because it was the PDF. So this couple of lines, a paragraph, is from a story called Nepal Uncle. It will be in Nepali. Sorry about the one who don't understand, but yeah. यो कथा चाहिँ नेपाल अङ्कल, जसको नाम चाहिँ अर्कै हुन्छ तर नेपाल अङ्कल भनेर चाहिँ चिनिया हुन्छ बेलायतमा. वल्लो डाँडा र पल्लो डाँडा, वल्लो गाउँ र पल्लो गाउँको लडाईँ जस्तो हुल्लडबाजको रैथानी जरी किलो पनि नेपालीहरू संसारका सबै भूभागमा सम्मान पुर्याएका छन्. त्यसमा चिन्ता हुनुपर्ने नहुनुपर्ने गणराज्य नेपालका भूतपूर्व नेपालीहरूलाई छोडौँ, बेलायतमा पनि त्यस्ता खाले रमिताजन्य मेलाहरू देख्न सकिन्छ. सक्रिय सहभागी नभए पनि भोक्ता भएकाहरू प्राय सबै हुनुपर्छ. जसले शिरमा ढाका टोपी लगाएका छन्, कम्मरमा खुकुरी भिरेका छन्, नभए घर घरमा खुकुरी क्रस जताएका छन्, कासको थाल बजाएका छन्, नभए गुन्द्रुकको गन्धलाई राष्ट्रिय सुगन्धको रूपमा टोल छिमेकमा प्रचार गरिरहेका छन्. देशभक्ति त मर्दैन, देशै चुत्तो भए पनि गहना अनेक छन्, बहाना अनेक छन्. नेपालीहरूका पीडा पनि छन्, चयनका दिन पनि हृदयमा टाँसेका छन्. जन्मदेश छाडेर कर्मदेशमा आउनेहरू सबै एउटै जातका फलफुल पनि होइन. कोही आँप छन्, कोही सुन्तला छन्, कोही मुन्तला, कोही नासपाती त कोही मयल छन्. केही गुराँसको जुस पिउँछन्, कोही गुराँसको वाइन पिउँछन्. तर साझा चिन्ता नेपाल र नेपालीको छ, त्यो कहिल्यै नमेटिने नेपालीको स्वभाव हो, तनको तन्तुमा मासीमा भरिएर बसेको छ. So I found that quite interesting. That resonates with many Nepalese living in here. I just can't translate this one immediately. I don't have that capacity. Maybe Nirmal can say, because he's the writer, and he can say that one. I give this responsibility to Nirmal, please. Can you? Could you please explain? Okay, you don't want it. Okay, then I'll read some lines, philosophical lines. These are some philosophical lines from other story. That's Anandit Jivanko Bato. That's way to the peaceful life. So I'm reading in Nepali. Timro kurus timi afai ho. Timro design र साज सज्जा तिम्रो आफ्नो हो. शरीरको आकार पो मिल्न जाला आम शरीरसँग, तर तिम्रो आन्तरिक आलोकको न आकार मिल्छ, न रङ मिल्छ, न ढङ्ग मिल्छ. तिमी एक्लो सत्य हो. तिमी सत्य तिमीलाई ठिक, अरूलाई बेठिक. अरूको सत्य अरूलाई ठिक, तिमीलाई बेठिक. मान हरेकको विशिष्ट एक अर्कासँग मेल खाँदैन. तिमी बुनिराख आफ्नो आत्माको पहिरन. स्वभावलाई जोडेर व्यवहारलाई पगालेर, तर नखोज बाहिरी जगतमा अरू आम चोलामा आफ्नो नियति नपोख. चौडा जगतमा उठेका ज्वारभाटा शान्त गर्न अनेक रूपी मन रङले लोभ्याउन थाले र उत्तरको खोजीमा भौतारिन थाले. जबदेखि उत्तरहरूको खोज त्यागे तबदेखि प्रश्नहरू फेरि ढोका ढकढकाउन आएका छैनन्. अचम्मको शान्ति वन रोपिएको छ. हृदयमा सुगन्ध पलाएको छ. विजय हुने आकाङ्क्षामा लुकेको पराजय अवस्थालाई समयमै सुध्रन सकिएन. I like the first paragraph even more than the second one. So it says, like, literally, it says, the shape of your body. Hang on. Sorry. Okay, shape of your body may resonate with others. It may resemble others, but, the internal content, it is you. It doesn't match with any other people or anyone else. So it's completely you. So I think that's what touched me. अरूको सत्य अरूलाई ठिक तिमीलाई बेठिक. The truth about others, that is truth for others, but maybe it's not for you. And truth about me, I know the 100% truth about me, or what I think. That's what I understood. But you can't be 100% sure of what I am. So it's not like we can't see or reflection in others. Am I correct, Nirmalji? Okay. All right. So in a way, it says you are the designer of yourself. Timro design ra sath sath timro आफ्नो. So you are the creator of yourself, and external may match with other people, but internally we all are different. And the thing you see in others are others, not yours. And the thing, what is in me is just mine. It's very roughly, it's not easy to do that. It's very roughly translated. So I thought it's better just to give the gist of what I was talking about. Oh, thank you. I have one more poetry from me, if you'd like. Okay. So it's this is, it's a bit of a sad story, but a sad poetry. It's about depression, and I would like to dedicate it to people who has depression, or who go through this phase. So it's Depression and His Death. The title of the poetry is Depression and His Death. Seeing him laugh, life would find a new meaning. Seeing him laugh, life would find a new meaning. However, that laughter, just a cloak to wrap his interminable agony, and a masquerade to appease himself of his melancholy. I have seen him die not once or twice. I've seen him die not once or twice, but countless times, because this was a death of his inner self. Because this was death of his inner self, of his spirit and his soul. In the name of living life, he perished every day. In the name of living life, he perished every day, and with a faded hope of recovery, he woke up again quivering. Likewise, he succumbed to myriad deaths. Likewise, he succumbed to myriad deaths at the brutal pangs of despair. Probably he had forgotten living his life. Probably he had forgotten living his life. Thank you. So anything, now I would like to welcome Nirmal again to say something about the book. I think it would be interesting for us, why he chose this cover, because it still hasn't gone from my mind, this question. And also, maybe what I thought was right or wrong. Having this kind of cover, and something about, how these stories generated and how he compiled.
Story. Thank you, Sangeeta. This is my day all the time I'm here. This story, it's a bit, difficult, and this bit paradox. Who cannot understand Nepali? In the meditations, in the realizations, we believe that the people who born in a Hindu family, they can visit the church and they can feel the same energy. It's a godly things. And who believe in the Muslims community, even they visit the temple and they feel the same energy, even they visit the church, We are living in the global phenomena, and we respect each other. We respect mutual living. And this I found in the book is in Nepali. And who do not understand Nepali, but you can feel in the accent, the meditations, you can receive a different kind of energy. I remember decades ago, I don't know, I'm just very bad in the memory, but I remember the Father Moon and the mother I met them when they visited Nepal first time. I was there. So it was historic,
Really?
And it was thousands of people, and they were having very good conversations. And I met them, I felt the aroma that day. I didn't know that I will come here and we'll have a book conversations, It was already planned on that day, I believe, So it was nice that I met Robin and my friend, the minister in Nepal, he connected me. So let me talk about this story. This is a Nepali called Ekanta. Ekanta means it's not exactly aloneness or maybe loneliness. We have differences between loneliness and aloneness. I more prefer advocates on the aloneness, when you became alone and you feel so much energy, So that I feel, that all the meditations comes, all the creations comes whenever we are alone, and we can feel that the vacuum of the creativity. So whoever the professions, whatever we do, that comes from your aloneness. It's more like a meditations. So that I feel,
In Hindi, I think we call it solitude.
Solitude, yeah, that's come close, And there are many stories. Most of my stories, there are 19 stories, and 19 is my favorite number. So I always, it starts from 1 and ends with the 9 and just repeats the rest of the numbers. That are my philosophy. And the 19 numbers, all these stories are based on the fact. Most of the writers, they do the imaginations. But I found very interesting that in our daily life, we encounter with many things, many people, many scenarios that are more powerful than the imaginations that I found. So the world of the one person could be imaginations for the other. So that means I am living in one country and traveling in other country. So I have a reader here, I have a reader other country. So it's like it circles, we have a true stories. Every man is living, every human, we have a stories, So that is stories I try to explain in my my book in a form of poetry, in a form of novels and articles, stories, whatever. So these are my journey. I made few friends. This Nepal uncle is a guy, came from Nepal, settled in UK. He has a responsibility, he has a cause, he has a reason to why he came here, and he had some responsibility with his family. Later he became a big family. Later, he responsibility for the country. And, the life goes on, and he changes his status from there to here. So everything changes. Earlier, he was seeking his own safety living here and chose certain professions. Later, he just saw the family's security, their good educations, that, he engaging the parents, how he engage themselves, and they just, how the time flies. And that is still, there are people are living here and they just remember their country. Like if we are from India, we work and we live here, and we have a good job and studying here, but still we feel that we have so much love with India. Same with Nepal, same with other country, So this is a story of the diasporic people. So I just took one representative Nepali who is living here for decades, and just how he tributes, how he helping his country, mother country, from the Nepal, That's all the time he was thinking, he is here, but bodily he is here, and his presence, the astral body, is to travel in the country, in the Himalaya, where the Mount Everest. So that was the gravity of that story. So someday I will translate, or maybe someone will translate and he will read it, and some good reviews on the books online you will find, and some poetries and some stories. It's in English, originally written, you can find in the Google as well. So maybe someone will read the poetry, right? Is Neha? She is coming? Oh, yeah. She is around. Okay. Or maybe Surendraji will say something, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Now I would like to welcome Barrister Sneha Shrestha to recite a few of the poems by Nirmal Kumar Thapa.
Thank you. Enthusiastic introduction. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here for the organized event, Nepal Center. It's a great occasion to be here again, as Nepal Center has organized a couple of very interesting events in the past. The recent one being in 2020, I believe it was a Visit Nepal 2020 in the House of Lords, which was a great success. And I got the opportunity to sing there, so if any of you were there, I'm sure you got to hear that. But in terms of, I'm called upon to read two poems from Crystal versus Nirmal, by the author himself, which is a huge honor. I'd also like to acknowledge that senior barrister, Mr. Devendra Shrestha, is also here, present. And we've worked together, I've grown with him, developed, and I just wanted to acknowledge that, of course. So the first poem that I'm reading is You. So far away from sight, I am enjoying the grace, you through you, intending a life of judicious individual, and could bestride the jewels of life, my futile journey to walk for long, countless miles, being festive with celebration, dance and music. But they were all not beside me, even your grace with me, and it chased away my beingness. Day-to-day moments of my breath is absurd and fruitless, although I was following the path with you, unknowingly or knowingly, and performed on your commands, just for the Almighty One, to read and gain a certificate. My wisdom implies to me its worthless job, a hollow step. Obviously, that defeated me and ruined my entire routine. How can I console myself to live? My poor being is still twanging with pain. I'm finding the tears rolling down during the hours of late, mystic night. A moment the full moon smiled upon me, I'm worried about my own self. Having myriads of desires and secrets, hopes, will just let my own being down. The feeble man awakes from the estate and is called a poet. A humble poet belonging to a small land of Nepal. The land bearing no identity and can be pinned globally, but a land renowned for the birth of Siddhartha Gautama and the snow-capped Mount Everest. But I and my desires stand, and more than these, I crafted my identity and existence through my life. Individually desiring for the endurance, lonely in the world of manless planet. You, all to myself is enough. And I'm breathing more passion than you. Of course, still you forced me. For the same repetition, what seemed just worthless to me. To attain the fame-filled life, to expand the self-styled popularity more than the ordinary others, you must be unique. My respect to you all and your grace to me is priceless, but I feel frazzled under you. Forgiveness is urged for my soul and words. Small poets only can frame their own irregular words on verses. Are you astonished to know it? My eccentric echoes, contended you will be if you understood me. I'm no more but floating on impassive sentient. Maestro of my own being, and no one else overpowered me. Except myself, I was the king of myself. Illicit was your access to sense my world, where I'm just alone with hush of silence. Empire belongs to me, not you. So from now on, stop commanding me. Your command converted my being to futility. To rule me, you all know I'm enough. I'm my single monarch, preparing my voyage to float around the white clouds where I am just alone. Not a feel of your fragrance, self-invented wing carry me towards the land of freedom where I'm delighted with my ownness. And there I sing my first song. It's called Last Song of My Life. I can see far away, your body is vanishing and gone away, but my being stands with truthfulness and smiled from the beyond. On and around the cosmic world where I can sense your presence, requesting forgiveness for my dear, just realize my endeavor for the real one. Okay? It's very difficult to understand, I agree with Sakita. And I will read it a couple of times after this to get every single word. So the next poem that I read is called Relation Existing Behind the Words. To pray, open up your hidden wisdom to the sky, to the earth, to sun and to the moon, to one whole voice that is you, and discern with abundance what is not visible to the eyes remains inaudible, can't be smelled, excluding those moments, steadily growing in a mysterious language that isn't explicable but other, enclosed within the circles of motions, like smoke that every day fogs around the Bagmati River, circled in the blue sky, in wind, swept our hearts shining with sparkles, desires to taste the known, praying for the dewdrops falling upon realness, taking a stand between face to face with a famished compassion. I see you. Glimpse upon ourselves and identify that we must seize the utmost affection and kindness grounding in all these things. Breathe in, knowing we are all made of all this, and breathe knowing we are truly sanctified through a power beyond the clouds as we are born and know one another. And would sleep deep in the boneyard within a true circle of motion, like smoke surrounding the entire light within our souls, naming it as a reward of life, and meaning unfolds here. Granted it would be through my prayer, in beauty, in love, without emotion. Enjoy the strands being divergent from each other, get delighted by recalling your ownness, and utterly feel true motion of beings. Where are we now? At this very moment, hidden behind words, disguised with sham in spite the real one. Be conscious and count the moments where we exist, who bless us bearing a mysterious grace. remains an invisible ecstasy, like the sailors who have lost the compass. Mindful of flowing the sun, where winds may direct me on, our existence no more, lacerate this dusk and ride with the unknown. With a bouquet of blooming roses and the smile of the full moon awaited you, give handful of thanks with a humble heart, whose grace showering colours on you. Thank you. So this was 29th of September 2007.
Very good.
Thank you. I'll just hand over to...
Thank you, Sneha. It was a beautiful poem, but at the same time, the recitation was really beautiful as well, and that gave a more charm. I wish I could recite my poem like that. Now, I would like to request Robin Mars from UPF, Universal Federation, Peace Federation UK, to say a few words about the cultural tie between UPF and Nepal Center.
To show some photos. And, one. Can you pick that up? So, actually, Universal Peace Federation is a charity in the UK. It has general consultative status with the Economic and Social Council of the UN internationally. And it's been very active in Nepal. And I think particularly when there was conflict, we were very much involved with reconciliation activities, creating a series of forums whereby we could bring different people, groups of people together. And we were praised by both the Prime Minister and the opposition leader for our efforts, and we have various letters for that. And I know our founders, Father and Mother Moon, they went many times to Nepal. And there was a major conference. There's been a series of major conferences, but this one was, I think, 2018 maybe?
Yeah, about 4 years ago before the pandemic.
So I just picked up a few pictures to show as an example. So there were a lot of quite high-level VIPs, both from Nepal and from Asia. I think Humphrey Hawksey also might have gone to this one. I remember arranging some kind of travel for him or something for this one. And Eknath Tikal, he's here speaking. He was the Minister for Poverty Alleviation 8 years ago, can I say 7 years ago? He came here. But he introduced Nirmal Kumathapa to me and said, oh, please can you help him to a cultural event. It was a few years back. It's another picture where Mother Moon is speaking. So Eknath Tikal came here, again, this will be about 2014. I think I got 2 weeks' notice or something, or maybe 3. And Virendra Sharma, the MP, who's our patron, he hosted this event, and we spoke on his Eknath Tikal, Honorable Eknath Tikal, and his wife Blessy. They were there. And here's our event. I think Margaret's there, and Joyce, and so on. And we also met in the embassy. I met the ambassador, etc.
This couple worked in Nepal.
And then this is the one that you were organizing. We held here just before COVID, I think. And yeah, and I'm not sure what the awards were, but it was nice. We had a lovely event here. It was really crowded, and the music was really enchanting. It was really lovely. So we're very happy to do these kinds of events. I just found this letter because Dr. Balcom, he said, I'd love to give these books for free. This is the book of Father Moon, who's as a peace-loving global citizen. Father Moon passed away roughly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he gave this book, and then here, former Prime Minister, Mr. Madhav Kumar Nepal, former Prime Minister, was writing a letter saying how much he enjoyed this book and how much he admired the example of Father Moon. But, I'd like to also just show a 4-minute video. Is that okay to roll? And please feel free to take these on your way out. Thank you.
This inspiration is highly needed.
It's important to take in consideration all aspects, including, we just heard it, the North Korean fears, and that nobody loses face. I don't believe one should be a winner and the other one should have lost the game. It's a question of finding a solution that both can be the winners.
And during this time of the pandemic, we need health for peace and peace for health. The two laureates, Professor Dame Sarah Catherine Gilbert and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, are the heroes who devoted themselves to health for peace.
Together, with wisdom, sincerity, and resolve, I do believe we can illuminate the path to peace both on the Korean Peninsula and beyond.
A breakthrough of peace on the Korean Peninsula would reflect globally. If peace will be the cornerstone of every nation and every generation, then the 38th parallel can become a symbol of peace rather than division.
Are doing a great job making any effort to unify Korea, but respecting human rights, having the sense of history that drives you to this effort for unification.
In this context, the Korean Peninsula could be the ground of an exemplary pathway to peace.
I am sure that the Universal Peace Federation Summit will contribute to this important process of searching for constructive solutions to a conflict that has been going on for too long.
The people of Kosovo and of South Korea share a similar past of suffering under occupation and of struggle for freedom. freedom means and seeks peace.
세계 모든 나라들이 하늘을 부모로 모시는 자리에서만이 진정한 세계 평화, 자유, 평등, 평화, 통일의 행복한 하늘 부모님을 중심한 인류 한 가족의 세계가 이루어질 수 있습니다.
If I love, I am betrayed. Suffering and grieving tonight, my head in my hands. Am I wrong? Yes, I am wrong. Even though we are deceived, still believe. Though we are betrayed, still forgive. Love completely, even those who hate you. Wipe your tears away and welcome with a smile those who know nothing but deceit and those who betray without regret. Oh, Master, the pain of loving, look at my hands. Place your hand on my chest. My heart is bursting, such agony. But when I love those who act against me, I brought victory. If you have done the same things, I will give you the crown of glory. So I encourage you to read some of the other poems and songs in this book. It's an easy read, and it shares the story of a land not so different from Nepal. Korea has existed in the middle of powerful empires, Japan, China, Russia, just like Nepal is sandwiched between India and China. And they're peaceful people who really want nothing but to live their lives in peace, but always are faced with the reality of a world that is more interested in war. Now, when you see the video of the big events with the Secretary General of the United Nations or the prime ministers and former prime ministers, actually of 87 countries, we were there, you might think, what can I do? I'm not a prime minister or even a former prime minister, and I've never been the Secretary General of the United Nations. But as we heard in some of the poems today, actually that doesn't matter because each of us is entirely unique, and yet we are all made in the image of God, however you may call him. So the fact is, without us, there can never really be peace. Thank you very much.
Amen.
Thank you, Mike, for the poem. Now, I would like to request Govinda Belbase, advocate and writer, for your remarks on the book, Nirma's book, Ekanta, which was launched today.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Actually, I was a bit late and I missed activities. My hair missed so many things, good things. Although, Nirmal Kumar Thapa, we are talking about this book. We are launching this book. And he requested me a few days ago about the book. Actually, when I saw the book, I was surprised. Only his name was top. But when I touched, there was book name, Ekant. Which word I remembered when I was in isolation because of COVID. And he writes and touches every aspect inside with philosophy. But I was thinking about my life, everything, but he was thinking and writing about the philosophy. Buddhism aspects and other things. It is in Nepali language. And first of all, his word touched me with language, where he mentions few words. There are Nepali words. Please allow me to read 2 lines here. It's in Nepali. I hope Devendra sir will help me to translate in English. Because he used to be a literature student, aren't you? That's why he can explain it better than me. It's in Nepali. पर्यटन मन्त्री सुर्ती मार्दै कतै बसेर टिभीमा कुमारी कुजिनको भिड दृश्य हेरिरहेको हुनुपर्छ वा राजदूतले उपद्रो अङ्ग्रेजी बोलिदिएर सजिलो नेपाललाई गोर्खाबाट इटलीको नेपल्समा पुर्याइदिएको. We pronounce Nepal, but if some people, they don't understand when we say Nepal. I think it was in King Mahendra era. So when people used to say Nepal, Western people, they were used to understand Nepal's in Italy. That's the theme he tossed when he visited around the world. And he met few diaspora Nepalese, and he gathers all information here. Would you help me to translate? Because that's the language, Nepali and other things. What difference it comes? This word touched me, that's why. When we are staying abroad from Nepali language, but nowadays we are also in Nepali language, a lot of people here. But at that time, I mean, before 25 years ago, situation was different. When my brother, he used to broadcast through radio, and I was in village in Nepal, and I was thinking, how is London? He can explain that time when people must have commented Nepal's with him, I believe. He can explain those things. Nirmal Kumar, he goes deep and deep, and he finds what is humanity. And he talks about who am I? That's the deep he has touched in this book. Language is very difficult to understand because in our Nepal, we use concentrate of lemon. It's called chuk. Out of all these knowledge, he brings it as a chuk, not as lemon. Only one sentence I can describe about it on his word. He says, सबै कुरा भ्रम होइन भन्ने देखाउने एउटा मधुरो बेड लाइट छ. In the dark room, only one bed light's light. That word is as a soul, I believe. I don't know what he was thinking when he wrote. But that word, that I can understand, I can only express my understanding. I think that light which comes from that lamp, that was his soul. I'm a lazy person, couldn't make good notes. and I had little time though, because I was working with my works and got 2 days to make preparation. Still, I don't know how much I'm able to do it, but I have tried it. And I found Nirmalji here saying, जनहितमा जयजुली महाजनको सम्पूर्ण सम्पत्ति जफत गरेर उसको परिवारका निम्ति आधारभूत आवश्यकता बाहेक सबै सरकारी ढुकुटीमा दाखिला गरे. He expresses about the relation between property and ourselves, humanity. He compares between the humanity and property. Without property, we are not here, but we are here. And that's different. He describes all the things. That is my understanding. I don't know what he was thinking when he was writing, and what he wanted to express and what he was saying. He can correct me if I am wrong. Reincarnation, he believes that, according to this book, I have not asked him yet. And he talks about the Che Guevara, that revolution and changes. I mean, what I found inside him is classes differences. He was talking in that. And that is also when he went deeper and deeper when he was isolating with that COVID period. There is one chapter, 19 and 20. He doesn't say anything about COVID on that chapter. He describes teenagers that love, and he explains so many things, 19 and 20. That teenagers love, but he was behind that. He was talking before 19 and 20 when we were suffering with this, everything. That's, I believe he was concentrate on that, but I don't know. But words, how much I understood, how much I understand, that's and all the things about the philosophy, he describes everything in the end and at the end and at the beginning, all from 0 to 0. That's his philosophy he describes in many words. Sometime in the book, when he met Yanaran people, non-residential Nepalese people around the world, and he finds conflict between Nepalese aspect and Yanaran aspect, requirements differences, and he supports a little bit Nepal side. He doesn't describe about undergrounds that like mouse holes. There is one Hindi movie. He doesn't feel inner sides Yanaran feelings, but I'm talking about Hindi movie PK. Difference between other films and PKs. In other films, we see other families, other parents, other friends, life, struggle, sorrow, happiness, everything. But in the PK, someone from the other world, he comes and he judges our activities, all our activities. So he comes from the Nepal and he visits us and he finds us actually what we are doing. That I think he was expressing here. And one line, I think, he is rebellion in this. This line describes him as a rebellion. Please allow me to read this sentence, this line only, not whole sentence. यदि उनी फोटोग्राफर हुन्थे त ती सबैको तस्बिर उल्टो बनाएर पसलको दायाँ बायाँ राख्थे. Artist, he describes who can hang his art upside down. So, in this theme, I found him rebellion, but I don't know what he was thinking at that time when he was writing those paragraphs, those lines. And he describes Bhante, Buddhist priest, monk. And there was description. He brings gist only, but I remembered one Saraswati Chitti's Nathiya novel, where she describes the vintage and sex life between. That he has written like this way. पेटीकोट अर्थात् रोब उगारेर सम्पूर्ण भावमा लीन भए निमेष भरको छतकुल्लीमा शरीक भएर बिहान गर्न बिर्सेको सक्रिय ध्यान सम्झिए. This word sent me to that Nathiya. She describes about that different novel. That's very sensitive issue. Life That's one caste which was little bit improved nowadays. When she was writing that, still that tradition is there. And that caste was forced to go for prostitution. That's the lifestyle, and that was that caste's bread and butter. That they were forced to make bread and butter from prostitution. Only few words were enough to bring gist from that Nathiya. That I believe. Little bit he was disappointed with politicians, especially Nepalese politicians. Their activities, that's very clear among us among Nepalese. We see some bad characters, so many bad characters, and difference between act and words. He describes in so many words. And few chapters he describes as he is nationalist. I'm confused actually. Somewhere he wants to express himself as a global citizen also. But very few words on that. But I found him little bit nationalist, more than global citizen. Although he cannot disagree with globalization and everything, especially in Nepalese aspect, he describes like few lines. Please allow me to read his few words. तिमीहरूको मालिक बेलायत डराएको थियो हामीसित युद्ध गर्न। तिमीहरूको ताजा दुश्मन चीन डराएको थियो नेपालसँग भिड्न। अहिले आकार हात्ती भयो भन्दैमा अर्काको खेतबारीमा लम्कन खोज्ने तिमीहरू नबिर्स एउटा कमिलोले भुँडी फर्काउँछ तिमीहरूको। सीमामा पहिलो चरणमा काँडे तार लगाऊ, त्यसपछि पर्खाल लगाऊ, त्यसपछि 8 लेनको मेची महाकाली राजमार्ग बनाऊ, त्यसैमा हाम्रो सीमा रक्षा र विकास सम्भव छ। These are the words which describes him as nationalist. He is proud to be a Nepali, and he expresses his word for long live Nepal. I think our time is going out. Yes. I have. Yeah, I can understand, and we can discuss these things. And it is very valuable book, very important, and very sensitive as a philosophy in words. Very interesting and very good. I feel proud to express my views about this book here. And I congratulate Nirmal Kumar Thapa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Govindaji. Now I would like to ask if any of you would like to recite a poem, if you have, or I'll have to invite, I will be inviting Sneha for a few minutes. Sneha, we already heard her reciting the poem, and she's got a beautiful voice. But to introduce Sneha again, she's the first women barrister, Nepali women barrister in UK, And we are very proud of Sneha and representing women in this sector in the UK. And at the same time, like we have already heard Sneha's voice when reciting the poem, but many of you haven't heard. Sneha got a very beautiful voice. She's a singer, and she had the program, singing cultural program here earlier in this hall, and we listened to her song. So I've just asked her just to sing a few lines. Is it in Nepali or English? Or you sing English as well, right? All right, okay. Whichever you prefer to, please.
Okay. Right, so I know I've had a request for English. I think I'm going to be fair and do English, Nepali, and Hindi. Okay, so I'll start off with Hindi. It's a song that I don't sing very often nowadays, not in public. But it's a song that I've been rehearsing because I find it so beautiful. And because it's a book launch and it's for Mr. Nirmal Thapa, who is an amazing poet, I thought it's quite fitting because it's a very poetic song. I'm just going to do a verse. It is in Hindi, so if anyone wants to translate it, please come forward, maybe Sanya. If not, then I'll do an interpretation of some sort. Okay, so the song is from the movie Kala, which is a very, I think, not a mainstream commercial movie, but quite an art movie. It's a recent one, and the song is called Shok. Okay. बिखरने का मुझको शौक है बड़ा समेटेगा मुझको तू बता जरा बिखरने का मुझको शौक है बड़ा समेटेगा मुझको तू बता जरा हो डूबते हैं तुझ में आज मेरी कश्ती गुफ्तगू में उतरी बात की तरह है कि आँखों में तेरी रात की नदी ये बाजी तुम्हारी है 100% बिखरने का मुझको शौक है बड़ा समेटेगा मुझको तू बता जरा So I think I should do a short summary at least because it's so beautiful. But I'll just do the first line. It's Google translation. So बिखरने का मुझको शौक है बड़ा. I have a strong feeling desire for breaking apart. And समेटेगा मुझको तू बता जरा is will you gather, collect me? Will you? So that's the kind of short summary. And actually, for the Nepali one, I was going to forcefully invite Devendra Shrestha to come and interpret what I'm saying, but he's not in the room. I don't know if I can call him, but yeah, so I'll do English first, and if somebody can call him, he has to agree. He's got to participate somehow here. Okay, no idea. Right, so English-wise, I haven't actually thought about which song, but have you guys heard Adele? I mean, I think that's probably the easiest choice. Any request? Any particular Adele songs? Because I don't mind.
I love
All of them, okay.
It's her most famous one.
Someone Like You, is it? Okay. Okay. So much easier nowadays with smartphones, yeah. Okay, so Someone Like You. I heard that you're settled down, that you found a girl and you're married now. I heard that your dreams came true. Guess she gave you things I didn't give to you. Oh, friend, why you so shy? It ain't like you to hold back or hide from the light. I hate to turn up out of the blue uninvited, but I couldn't stay away. I couldn't fight it out. Hoped you see my face and that you'd be reminded that for me it isn't over. Never mind, I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts in love, but sometimes it hurts instead. That's it. And I can see Devendra Shrestha. So one last one, is that okay? Because I do want him to interpret this. So I've just announced, so you've accepted. I will sing a Nepali song only if you interpret it afterwards. It's not difficult for you, I know, and it's a very, very beautiful Nepali song. And you can do this, I know that. You'll be more than happy to do this. But I would like him to introduce himself and say a few words first.
Namaste, everyone. My name is Devendra Shrestha. Came to this country in 2001, still struggling.
I think that's a huge lie.
Well, that's me. I'm from Nepal. Thank you very much.
And a barrister.
I'm a barrister, yes.
Okay, so the song is Namana Laj.
Okay.
Yes. See?
I really can't. I think this lady would do better.
No. You're already here. You've committed.
No, I can't.
You're the chosen one.
I really can't. I don't think I can.
But I'll give you time. It's okay. 5 seconds. Okay. So I'll sing first. I'll sing first.
Don't understand anything.
Okay, yeah, go on.
And it's worth the interview. So it's a song I think you know from the movie, is it Maiti Ghar? It's a very popular movie, I think, right? And the song is by Prem Dhoj Pradhan and Usha Mangeshkar. Okay, so a very short verse. Okay, so it goes. Naman laj istari ki jhum chhe zindagi mero, ki jhum chhe zindagi mero, now samu isari ki ade chhe dhuki mero, ki ade chhe dhuki mero, now samu yesari.
Don't feel shy this way, as if
ki chhum chhe zindagi mero,
your life will play in music.
Now samu yesari.
Don't come this way.
Ki ade chhe dhuki mero.
My heartbeat will stop running.
That's it. One more verse. One more verse. Does anyone want to hear one more verse? Hear him interpret more. Okay. Tyo ghumto ma chalo ke.
Ghumto, what is it called? Ghumto?
View.
Yeah. Shall I lift your veil?
Muhare tyo nihalo ke.
Can I look at your face carefully?
Bhulera fulai nahi.
completely forgetting myself. May I lose in you. Don't feel shy that way.
I think that was the best teamwork, I think, on Call 5.
It's done? Oh, okay, I just started. Okay. I didn't...
Oh!
Okay. It was really...
Sorry?
I didn't get that.
Sorry, say that again?
I said, your wife.
I'm his daughter.
No. No, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, uncle.
Uncle and niece. I look very young for my age.
And I look very old. Okay.
I take that as compliment.
Yeah, no, we work well together.
Yeah, we work well, and
thank you.
We are proud. She's the first Nepalese female barrister.
And he's the first practicing Nepali.
So you should practice singing.
Yeah, she's a very good singer as well. I
think you sing well too. I've not actually.
I'm a bathroom singer, but she's a proper one.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I think we've taken enough stage time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sneha, for your beautiful singing. I'm happy that I invited you here. I mean, to sing a few songs, and all of the songs, whether it's in Nepali, Hindi, or English, I'm speechless. Like your voice is so beautiful, and no wonder Devendra Shrestha ji, why she chose you. Now I understood. Like it was very expressive, and it was really nice. I hope you all agree with this one, yes. Right? Yeah. Now we are about to almost at the end of the program. I would like to end with Nirmalji's Nepal uncle story that he told earlier, a little bit of the story. I want to end with this sentence from the same story. The sentence is, first I'll tell in Nepal, I'll recite, I'll tell in Nepali, and then not the literal translation, but I'll see like what does this exactly mean. यो चाहिँ नेपाल अङ्कलकै कथाबाट हो. अलिकति होइन मलाई छोयो अनि मैले चाहिँ अन्डरलाइन गरेर राखेको थिएँ होइन. यस्तो उहाँको किताबमा कथाहरूमा त्यो फिलोसफिकल लाइन्सहरू कति हुन्छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ अन्डरलाइन गर्दै राखिरहेको हुन्छु म. अनि यो चाहिँ अघि न ट्रेनमा म पढ्दै मैले गरेको थिएँ. सम्झना गरौँ भूत जस्तो हो जसले कालको कालो चट्टान बोकेको हुन्छ र आजन्म पिरोलिरहन्छ. I find it very nice. And I can't translate exactly in English, word by word translation, but the meaning is remembrance is like a ghost and it runs after you for life. Am I correct, Nirmalji? Yeah. And I think the remembrance of this program will come to us forever. And the end part, Sneha's singing, has made the program very interesting. And I hope, I'm just thinking about my book launch and the next book. And thank you so much, everyone. And special thanks to Universal Peace Federation for giving us this opportunity and making us very welcoming in this hall and using this platform for sharing our literature, music, and everything. Thank you so much.
Should I introduce? Please come up, everyone, and let's take a photo.